Sandra, welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button and give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content as we go along. And don't forget, when you hit the subscribe button, to hit that great big bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now, post a new video. If you don't know who I am Sandra Burmy, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives book, 47 asexual stories that is, and that's real life stories, which we're going to be diving into on this video. Yeah, soon. Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month is here, and I am actually a bit late in telling you that. I speaking about it last month, but didn't actually say about this month, so it's the first time I've mentioned it this month. Busy. So yes, I am celebrating 125,000 views today. Well, over that already. Over 125,000 views on this channel. This is really amazing, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I could not have done that without you. You are what makes this community alive, what makes this community grow, what makes this community so special and awesome. You know, I really, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank every single one of you, everyone who views this channel, subscribes to this channel, likes, comments, shares. It means such a lot to me. You know, it means such a lot to asexuality. You know, to have 125,000 views is just incredible. It's more eyeballs on asexuality. It's more people that have known or knowing about it. And it's just really good. We just need to keep the momentum going. Please do keep sharing these videos. Keep telling your friends about it. It's really important. Even, oh, thanks for the thumbs up. Even if they're not asexual, it's really important that we try and get other people who are different sexualities on board as well, so they can understand what asexuality means in real life context. I often think that asexuality is kind of got an obscure kind of like aura to it sometimes. It's kind of like it's out there and it's not really here in reality, and when we know it's real, you know. And I think when we share our own personal stories, our personal journeys, when we have this community here of wonderful asexuals that all join in together and that all contribute to the chat, you know, it just solidifies the realness and the trueness of asexuality. And it's just really beautiful, you know, really beautiful. And, you know, there's been a lot more people in chat lately, a lot more different people coming into this community. And I really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. You're all beautiful and wonderful. And I love all your individual personalities. I love the differences of opinions. You know, the insights you can get on this channel is amazing from hearing different people's points of views. And I think that's what, you know, Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month particularly is about. You know, when I first brought this book out in 2017, that's what it was, to celebrate our diversity. You see, it's that warm because I've been reading it so much, the diversity across the asexual spectrum and our differences within it, you know. And that's what Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month is all about. That, you know, we may be having one commonality, which is a lack of sexual attraction, but, you know, we're all different types of people. Hello, Liam. Hello, beautiful Sandra. Great to see you. Oh, it's lovely to see you, Liam. I was thinking about you earlier. I was wondering how you are on this fine, beautiful day or night. It's right here at the middle. It's like on 3:30 a.m. in the morning. But I'm so proud that we've done over 125 views. 125 views, 125,000 views on this channel. Just missed out 3 noughts there. So yeah, and I've been working on the Asexual Guide to Sex book, so my second book for asexuals, for the last number of hours. So that's why I'm later coming onto this channel. So yeah, the second book is doing really well. I feel so happy and so elated when I'm working on that, you know. Just feels so good to be working with other asexuals. Many asexuals are very excited for this Asexual Guide to Sex book. They know it's a missing piece that, you know, society needs to know about, basically. And it'll just help asexuals a lot, you know, asexuals all across the spectrum, because we've all got different nuances and things we like and don't like. And, you know, it's got a range of stories, real life stories in there. It's just incredible. So I've been working on that. It's been feeling really good. I've been really, really happy about that. And 120, well, it's now over 125,000 views. It's just incredible. So as this is Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month, I thought I'd read some from my book, and this tonight is a few of the positive things about asexuality. Of course, there's many more. I'm going to put that down a little bit because you can see me as well. But I'm just going to read a few out. So this is Asexual Perspectives. If you've never got a copy before, please do grab yourself a copy. The link is in the description below. There's 47 different asexual stories, including my own personal story that I share, and many, many insightful questions that really kind of like put asexuality into real life context of different types of asexuals, rather than just giving you textbook definitions of it, you know. So in Marnie's story, what are the positives about being asexual? Marnie found out they were asexual when they were actually already married. So Marnie's answer was, well, now there are no worries of my husband being jealous of other men. He knows no matter how hard they try, I will never be sexually attracted to them. And I think, you know, that is a huge benefit if you're a sexual person, you know, particularly if you've got an asexual partner, you know, that asexual person's not going to go off and have sex and cheat like that with someone else. You know, you've got that kind of confidence and security there, which obviously you don't get when you're dating or in a relationship with a sexual person. You know, there's more temptation for sexuals if they really, really love the sex to kind of go off, you know, have sex with someone else. And some of them sadly use excuses like, oh, I was drunk, oh, I didn't realize what I was doing, you know, and I didn't see that coming, or, you know, it was just one time, all the rest of the stuff, or no, I'm not really doing that, you know. And I'm sure you've heard from people in chat here, not just me, that, you know, I've been cheated on, and quite a lot of asexuals have been cheated on. You know, it's because we don't feel the need, urge, or want for sex, you know, but that's no need to cheat on us. It's better just to let us go and have a beautiful life rather than a single life than do that to us, you know, which is a shame, you know. But that is a huge advantage for sexuals dating an asexual, that we don't, you know, have sex usually. You know, if we do, it's not usually us instigating it, or us, you know, directly going ahead and saying, let's go and get some. Do you know what I mean? So it's very, very different. So that is a huge positive, that, you know, if you're asexual and you're with a partner who's sexual, the positives for them is you're not going to go off and sleep with someone else or be sexually attracted to someone else. So yeah, if you're on the more sexual end of the asexual spectrum, then, you know, that could be slightly different. But, you know, in general, I think that's a really, really good benefit to being asexual. So this is Fiora's story. Now, Fiora answered to what are the positives about being asexual. She said that people have told me they wish sexual attraction wasn't such a distraction for them. So I guess one positive thing is that I don't have to deal with that. And I think that's true. I think sexual attraction is very, very distracting. You know, I equally think that romance is distracting as well, you know. Like, for me personally, I love kissing, and like every so often I just get the urge, like I really want to kiss, and I've got no one to kiss. And it's kind of hard. I know some of my friends, they just want to cuddle you know, have a cuddle, and they're asexual, but they got no one to cuddle, and it's kind of really, really difficult sometimes. So I do think, you know, that sexual attraction can be a distraction, romantic things can be a distraction, you know, but having sex can be a distraction from your life as well, which we don't have to put up with, you know, unless we're with a sexual person and we are actually partaking in that, you know. If we're asexual, not having sex, there's like a lot of other things we can do to fill our time up with, which I think is a huge benefit of being asexual, you know. It's very interesting because someone in one of my asexual groups in the last 24 hours, they said that for them, when they did have sex like 12 years ago in their marriage, ex-marriage, They they tended to always have sex at night. They're like, oh, people usually have sex at night. Liam, some stupid men cheated on you, Sandra. Sorry that happened. Yeah, thank you for that, Liam. Lots of love to you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it wasn't nice. I've had it a lot in my life and I just can't be bothered with it anymore. Do you know what I mean? That's what really puts me off ever dating or being in a relationship with a sexual person again, because you just can't really trust them. In my personal opinion, I can't trust them because I always know that, especially the ones that are attracted to me, usually they're really, really into sex. And it's very difficult to trust as it is, but trusting a sexual is even harder. I don't think it's impossible, but I just think it's not particularly nice. Especially if you're. I think I'd have to be with someone who really wasn't bothered about sex if it was a sexual person. Do you know what I mean? They had a low sex drive, really had disinterest in it. But it is very difficult. It makes life difficult to trust again. And I really feel I need to be with an asexual person, and that my life would be a lot more relaxed and comfortable in a relationship with a asexual person, not a sexual person. Not a sexual person, an asexual person. I'm not sure if I said that right then. It's like really late in the morning. So I don't think I'd be happy being with a sexual person in a relationship. That's what I was trying to say. Liam, I am asexual and aromantic, so these distractions don't bother me. Oh yeah, if you're aromantic, yeah. It's good for you. It's really good for you. I mean, some aromantics I know, I know you don't, but some aromantics I know do want a queer platonic relationship, and some aromantics I know are actually in a relationship. I know one aromantic person who's been married for years to a person who isn't asexual. So, do you know what I mean? There's a very big myth that every aromantic asexual doesn't want a relationship, and that's simply not true. It's true for a lot of aromantics, those that lack romantic attraction, asexuals that lack sexual attraction too, but there's still a number who do want an actual relationship, where it's queer platonic or otherwise. But if you're aromantic, asexual, not interested in a relationship, you don't kind of have those things to worry about, which is another big positive. I think there's positives to every person and every orientation in and of their own right, and negatives about it depending what context it's in and and what situation it is. But I just think there are a number of benefits to being asexual that really needs to be highlighted, because I think it's something to be proud of. I think for me personally, I love being different. I've always been different. So the fact that asexuality is so different to a lot of the population out there, I think that's a really good thing. I don't like being one of the crowd. I don't like following everyone else. I don't like being like a robot. You know what I mean? Like the same thing day in, day out. I don't like to be programmed that way. I don't like the conditioning of society. I like to break free. I like to break free of multiple different types of constraints. Like I don't want marriage, for example. I definitely don't want children. Society brings you up to want sex, marriage and kids. I realize that I'm not necessarily the same as every other asexual. Some asexuals do want marriage, some do want children. But for me personally, being asexual makes you hugely different anyway. And I just think that's a really good thing in life. I don't want to be like everyone else. I think asexuality gives you the benefit of being able to see the world and life in a completely different way that no one else can see it. We can view relationships differently. A-step. Popping in to say congratulations on your 125k views. Have a great morning. Thank you, A-step. Lots of love to you. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you. Yeah, I've gone quite a bit over that now, but yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's kind of morning or night wherever wherever you are. It's currently at 03:47 a.m. here on Sunday. But yeah, I've been really happy today. Well, yesterday and today because I've been working on the Asexual Guide to Sex book, which is always my pride and joy. Like, all I really want to do is write books for asexuals all the time because it fills me with so much joy in my heart. It's just so nice to get the word out there and asexual different perspectives, into the world. It's really important, It's really important that we're heard and we're not silenced, and our opinions are very much valid. And speaking of the Asexual Guide to Sex book, which will be my second book for asexuals, I'll be publishing definitely this year. It's just a completely different way of looking at sex, a completely different mindset, and that's what I think is a huge benefit as well, is that we do have very different mindsets and very different thought patterns where sex is concerned, and that can help if we've got friends who want advice on sex matters, because we can see things differently. We're more objective, I personally think. So I could think we can see things from other people's point of views who are not so keen on sex. And we can probably see relationship difficulties and problems a lot more easily. I think these days I can see it a lot more than I used to because of how I've grown into my asexuality. I can understand now things. I can see things a lot more clearly than I did before. Because I think sexual energy, sexual tension, I think it kind of clouds things a lot. I think with asexuals and asexual relationships, you strip back kind of the foundation of a healthy relationship. You kind of strip back all the noise, all the rubbish. You take all that away, and you've got to really you really come to understand what makes the basis for a successful, happy, healthy, loving relationship. I've learned that more because of my asexual journey. If I'd have still been thinking I was heterosexual when I'm not, and I carried that on, I wouldn't be none the wiser. I would keep making a lot of the really bad same mistakes as I made years ago with relationships. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I still have much work to do myself. I really do. Because my hyper-romanticism can get in the way, as you know. So I'm very much still a work in progress. But, I do feel that I have a lot more clarity in terms of foundational things you should have in a relationship. I also personally think that asexuals, they're a lot more practically minded when it comes to relationships. It's kind of like when you discuss having a relationship, you actually discuss it, if you know what I mean. Liam, of course, a lot of aromantics can have a relationship and there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, thank you, Liam. Bless you. That's nice. Yeah, it's very important because I know one of my friends that is with a and married. She gets a lot of stick from people going, oh, if you're aromantic, then why do you want to be married? And why do you want to be married to a sexual person? Why? It's like they can't, and it's very rude. It's very rude and obnoxious, It's like, just because someone's aromantic doesn't mean to say, and they don't experience romantic attraction, doesn't mean to say they don't want a life companion. Doesn't mean to say they can't love someone. Doesn't mean to say they can't experience other attractions. Some aromantics actually still experience aesthetic attraction, for example. And a lot of aromantics can still be very loving, caring people. In fact, in my opinion, some aromantics that I come across are very romantic in their actions, but they don't think they're romantic. To them, they are not being romantic. But to me, they're being very romantic. So, for example, an aromantic person might go out to dinner and might have candles on the table, all that and that type of thing, and they'd be just like, oh, I've just invited a friend over for a meal and we put some nice candles on because they look pretty. Whereas a romantic person would be thinking, oh my God, this is a candlelit dinner. It's so beautiful. It's so romantic. I'm feeling wonderful. I'm feeling so romantic right now. And it's like, some aromantics may still hold the person's hand. To an romantic asexual, that would be romantic. To an aromantic, might be just like, well, they're my partner. It's just something I feel like doing. It's kind of nice. Do you know what I mean? So aromantics can still be romantic from a romantic person's point of view, even though they would not be thinking or feeling romantic themselves. You know, just like an asexual person could have sex, even though they're not a sexual being in and of themselves, because they're doing that as an act, as a behavior, not because it's something that's actually part of their own specific identity, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, having sex or being romantic are learned skills, like relationships are learned skills, like friendship is a learned skill. You know, I'm much better at friends. Exactly, Liam. They are not unloving. It's very, very important. However, I have come across some sexual aromantics that are a lot more unloving when I come into contact with them. Like for me, aromantic asexuals are very loving, very caring, very compassionate, very overall they want to be really deep friends with you. So they care about their friends a lot, right? And I think aromantic sexuals do as well. But whenever I hear of aromantics that do want a relationship, or even, you know, queer, platonic or otherwise, it's very, very warm. I've come across some. I don't know many aromantic sexuals. There's one person on my Asexualise page who's not asexual. They are aromantic. They are really nice. They do a lot of stuff with their husband that the husband can't believe they do because they're aromantic. They love kissing loads and doing all the lovey-dovey stuff like holding hands and cuddling, even though they're aromantic and they don't have any romantic attraction whatsoever. So their husband's very happy with them because their actions are what and behavior is what the husband likes, and they like to do that. They actually like to behave and do those things, just that they don't feel romantic feelings. So, but some of the other people I've seen on comments, for example, in YouTube, there's been some that have been aromantic sexuals, and literally they just want the sex. They don't want any friendship afterwards with the person. They don't want anything to do with the person otherwise, other than just have them for sex, really. That's it. They don't need any further contact with that person. They don't need to be ringing them or keeping in touch with them. Whereas with the aromantic asexuals I've seen, they very much, you know, really want the friendship. They really want all that kind of warmth of companionship and friendship. So for me, you know, but you know, I have yet to come across more aromantic sexuals. So I don't want to say they're all like that, because I'm sure some of them aren't. You know, like I said, there's one on my Asexualise page and they're not like that at all. So I personally, though, you know, from my point of view, I've got more experience of aromantic asexuals being warm and caring and loving than sexuals being warm, caring, and loving. I think the guy I dated years ago, heterosexual guy I dated, I think he doesn't realise he's probably an aromantic sexual. He's a psycho though, so his brain's not quite right. I mean, a real psycho. So I don't know if it's his sexual orientation or if it's just part of his brain not being good. But you know, when he was with me, he wasn't romantic most of the time. Apart from he gave me his coat once, but that's because I was really cold, and it was more to do with the fact I was cold. He didn't really want to hold my hand. He didn't really want to like do much stuff, romantic stuff at all. So, but he was sex mad, but he didn't have sex with me. But yeah, he, you know, and that came across as very kind of uncaring. Came across like he was just my mate, or even my mate treats me better than he did. Like even my mate's more caring and warm. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it was a bit weird. But yeah, so I think there's lots of benefits to being asexual. What else? Let's see what else is in my book. Okay. Oh, this person, yeah. What are the positives about being asexual? This was, I don't even know how to pronounce this, but I think it's geeks or geek Geeks van der Pol. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not 100% sure. But basically, theirs is very short and sweet. I will not get an STD, and I do not need to buy condoms. I have to say, because obviously I have had sex in the past, condoms can get very expensive. If you have never used one before, or you've never had sex before, the condoms can cost quite a lot. So when you buy condoms, right, like, it depends how many you get in a pack, but sometimes you end up wasting them. And I'm getting very personal here. Sometimes you end up wasting them because you have to use them in a specific way. So you have to grab hold of the end of the teat and pull the air out of it so that you know, you don't get stuff going into you, because that's the right way to do it. And some people, if they don't read the instructions, they're not going to do that properly. Sometimes they can burst, which obviously is a bad thing as well, because if they burst and you've not got another form of contraception, a woman can get pregnant. So obviously what is a huge benefit for me is I never ever ever have to worry about getting pregnant ever again, because that is incredibly one of my worst fears in my whole entire life, is getting pregnant. I do not want that. I would never ever ever want that in my life. I was more, when I had sex in the past, I was more worried about that than anything, because I had sex in the past, so I wasn't really worried about the sex. I didn't particularly like, you know, I'd rather do other stuff. I wasn't particularly into it. It's not something I particularly like in comparison to like lots of other things, but I was always worried about getting pregnant. I used to get pregnancy test kits just to check that I wasn't pregnant after I'd done that, even though I was on the pill. But my last long-term ex, he didn't like using condoms. I was with him for a long time though. So we didn't used to do it sometimes, because if you have a tummy upset, it cancels out the pill. So a huge benefit of being, you know, like living, not just being asexual, but living without sex for me is, you know, I don't have to take the contraceptive pill anymore, which is a hormone pill, which can make your body feel weird. It can have side effects as well. So that can be quite horrible, you know, and the condoms do cost a lot of money. Obviously you should buy condoms, you know, especially if it's someone you're not, don't know if you're going to be in a long-term relationship with or not, you know, but it's very important to protect yourself. Very important, you know, even in a long-term relationship, ideally you want to be using condoms, but they do cost quite a lot of money, you know, they do mount up, you know. And obviously you've got the embarrassment of going into the shop and getting them. I used to be so embarrassed about that. You know, I used to be like, oh my God, people are going to know what we're going to get up to. We're going to be having sex, and you've just basically broadcast it to the whole shop by getting these in the first place. And it's like, oh my Lord, you know, I know people don't really think about this if they really enjoy sex and they just, you know, but for me, it's like, I want to hide away. I want to cringe. I want to go behind a paper bag or something, because it was just like really really bad. I'm like, I don't want people to know my sex life. It's quite ironic, seems like I talk about my past sex life quite a lot now, but you know, I don't want people knowing. I don't want people to know I'm having sex. It's like, I'm really private and personal, do you know what I mean? And it's like, I didn't want people to know. And it's like, you go into these you know, places, pharmacy places and shops that sell that type of thing, and you have to stand there trying to choose the right one, because you've got different types, different colors, different flavors, different materials. And it's like, oh my Lord. Liam, like you, I never want kids. A decision I made when I was 14. I made it when I was 15, Liam. Wow, that's really really interesting. That's really really, I didn't know that about you. We're very similar on that then. Yeah, wow, that's incredible. Yeah, I definitely don't want kids. I've never wanted them, you know. I just want my guy and me. That's it. I'm too young, always. It's like, there's no room in the relationship for a kid. I am the kid. Like, being with me is like having a kid, but in a nice way. But yeah, I love going to kids club, cinema. I don't have a kid. I just say I am the kid, because in the UK, you can go to kids club and see a movie much cheaper, and you know, like for £2.50, and you know, it's been on the big screen before, and you can just sit there, and there's all the parents of the kids, and I'm there without a kid, and I just say, oh, I am the kid. It's me. Woohoo! You know, I love it. So I like loads of kids stuff myself, you know, but I just like my guy and me. Not that I have my guy, I just have me. But yeah, so I think it's really important, a decision you made when you're younger. Yeah. And obviously, you know, if you're asexual, it makes it easier to, if you don't want kids, I think, you know, being asexual makes that easier decision, I think. If you definitely don't want them, it kind of like, it goes with that, really, doesn't it? Because there's a thing called sex that you need to have. I said to someone the other day, that Indian guy actually, that, you know, I don't want kids, and he you know, that I'm asexual, and he knows that already, and it's kind of like, well, I want kids and marriage. It's like, well, to have kids you got to do a certain thing called sex. I don't want sex. I definitely don't want kids. I know you could adopt, but it's just not the lifestyle I want. I love the life I've got, you know, I really do. We really do, you know. And going back to condoms as well, you can actually get you sometimes have to have a latex free because you can get allergic to the latex as well. So yeah, there's a lot of different things, and when you're doing all that stuff, there's always risk of pregnancy. Do you know what I mean? I hate that. That was my worst nightmare. I was so scared of that. I wasn't scared of having sex back then. I just didn't really like it. I wasn't really into it. But the guy was good about doing that. It was better with him than the others because the others just bored me. So you know, it's kind of, but I was scared about getting pregnant, really scared about it, frightened so much. It was horrible. And I'm glad that I don't have to do that anymore. I think it's a shame that, you know, that having sex means you could get pregnant, really. It's like, why does it have to be that way? Obviously, if you have an operation, it doesn't, but I never wanted to have an operation because I don't like that type of thing. But yeah, I do think that's a huge benefit of, you know, being asexual. If you don't want kids, it's like you don't have the sex, you don't get pregnant unless you're doing some other thing to get pregnant. So yeah, that's a really positive as well. I think there's one more I was going to read out from here from this book. Oh yes, what are the positives about being asexual? This is Asexual Perspectives book to celebrate Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month. Hashtag APAM. What are the positives about being asexual? This is Callie's story, which is really good. I feel like this question has a lot of dependence on how you identify. For instance, as a sexually repulsed asexual, one of the perks is that I don't have to worry about pregnancy. What was I just saying? Or STIs, which are sexually transmitted infections, in case anyone didn't know. But that would not apply to an ace who was in a sexual relationship for whatever reason. I think one of the main positives for me personally is that I'm more objective about things that have to do with dating and such. So people find me good to come to for advice. And that's what I was basically saying earlier. You know, I think we have a much more objective view of relationships, you know, because we're kind of outside of all that type of thing. You know, we don't have to participate in sex. We don't need that. And so we look at all the other aspects of the relationship, like, well, it certainly makes me look at all the other aspects of relationship that I might have overlooked in the past. Like, it makes me look at things like hobbies and interests. Things like, can we keep the conversation going year after year? Things like, you know, like, are we going to be motivated to stay with this person, you know, when the initial feelings have worn off? Because, you know, like, I might get highly aesthetically attracted to a guy, but when I've talked to him for a while, if he's got nothing really he does in his life, it would bore me being in a relationship with him. You know, after a while, it'd be like, well, I need an intelligence stimulation and I'm not really getting on it. Liam, you're a beautiful person. I would love to meet you. I'm mad about you. I count you as a friend. Oh, that's really sweet, Liam. Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. That's really nice. That's a very nice message, especially for the special celebration today. Oh, that's lovely. Mad about me. Oh, that's so sweet. I would say that's very romantic, but I know you're not romantic. But to me, that's a very romantic thing to say. But I know you're not romantic, so I'll try not to take it romantic. I just tried to take it as it's a very nice thing you said. But obviously, if it was a romantic person saying that to me, I'd be like, oh my God, that's one of the most romantic things someone said to me ever. So thank you so much for saying that. It's very, very sweet. You don't live too far away, do you? You like one day venture over to the UK? So it's not completely impossible. Not like a lot of people on my channel, like a lot of them are in America or India, and it's like, well, I'm probably not going to meet you anytime soon. But you know, I have had other people say they want to meet me, so who knows? It might happen one day. When I start doing like big, huge asexual seminars, who knows? You know, that would be great. Under my own brand name, not for other people. But yeah, I'd have to charge for it obviously if I was doing that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that in London. It would be so cool. But yeah, thank you so much. That's really nice and sweet of you. I'm smiling now. I just think that's so nice. It's a warm and fuzzy feeling type of comment, isn't it? It's really nice. But yeah, I've forgotten what I was going to say now because I'm just so feeling like really special now. It's really nice. Thank you. Lots of love. But yeah, I can't even speak. Sandra's speechless. This doesn't happen very often. Why was I? I'm just like a huge benefit. At least I'm not too far. Exactly, Liam. You're not too far. You're not too far. It's good. It's not like you know, you might one day come over to the UK. It's not like you're too far away. It's good. I have no idea what you look like, but I'm sure a beautiful person because you've got a beautiful soul. So if I was meeting you on my own, I'd have to video chat with you first because that's my golden rule. As you probably know, if you watched all my videos, like if I meet anyone on the internet, I have to video chat with them first. But if it's in a group setting, like a group meetup, then it's fine. But yeah, I have my golden rule with everyone, no exceptions to the rule. It's very important to video chat first. It's very important. And it's fun anyway. It's good fun. It's very good fun. Very, very good fun. So yeah, what's the saying? Oh yeah, I think so. I think that asexuals can look at a lot of the other different types of things in a relationship, you know. And I was saying, you know, that I do need intellectual stimulation. So I do need someone who'll be very intelligent, you know. And I think with asexuals as well, we tend to have a lot more going for us in general because we tend to have a lot more projects on the go than sexuals, I think. You know, I do find that asexuals tend to have a lot more things. They're like quite artistic, quite creative. You know, they're doing stuff a lot of the time. I feel like they're having a more higher purpose life. That's how I feel overall, you know, a lot of asexual. I feel like they're into like creating artwork or creating animation or designing things or making things, you know. So I do think that's good, you know. I would be able to video chatting with you. Oh, that's good, Liam. Oh, that's good. That's great. So we could Skype or video chat by Facebook. That would be great. You could email me with that if that ever happens. That would be lovely. That would be very nice. Because I have no idea what you look like. It does intrigue me. Like, what do you look like? I could guess. But yeah, that's really nice. I don't even think I know how old you are. Oh yeah, you said you're in your 30s, didn't you? I think you said to me once. So yeah. But yeah, that'd be nice. So something to look forward to maybe in the future. I don't fly in a plane or go on a boat usually. I think we have water between us, don't we? But if you come to the UK, it'd be nice. So yeah, I'm getting speechless again now. So what else can I say? Oh, the positives about being asexual. So obviously, you know, sexually transmitted infections, sexually transmitted diseases, no worry about pregnancy, don't have to buy condoms, don't have to have contraception, unless you're doing some other type of sex act that you need it for. And you know, there's age 34. Oh wow. You always sound really young. You always remind me of like someone who's 25. You always remind me of someone who's really young, which is nice. I always think you're younger than that. Yeah, I always feel like you're 25 years old. I don't know why. It's the way I think you talk young like me. So that's nice. But yeah. I can't even speak. See, I get a bit speechless. What was I saying? Yes, so lots of benefits. I think the benefit as well is that we can make asexual friends. I think asexuals see friendship very differently as well. Like I can have deep friendships more than I ever had with sexuals because with sexuals they have always got something else in mind, usually, which is sex. And you know, when you're with other asexuals, you don't get all that sexual energy and sexual tension, that sexual kind of like uncomfortability. I mean, it is really uncomfortable if you're not really into it. Do you know what I mean? So it can be a bit like annoying or distasteful, distracting, or it can be a bit but you know, it just depends, you know. But I mean, when I go out clubbing, I'm not too bad. I don't really mind. So it's full of sexuals. You know what I mean? Most of the time I'm okay. It goes a bit far sometimes because I'm like, oh, you know, certain things there that it's just a bit too sexual for me. You know what I mean? It just goes a bit much. But I think in relationships, yeah, I think we've got much better chance of, you know, I think it's difficult. I think there's two things. I think the positive about being asexual is that you can actually, in relationships, like build a stronger foundation for a good, healthy, happy relationship. But also there is if you want to talk about a downside to that, there's a lot of asexuals that are not actually into having a relationship, or they're not that needing one. So whereas with sexuals, it's kind of like they really want a relationship. With asexuals, when you're on asexual forums, asexual dating sites, a lot of the time they just stop talking to you. It's not something that just occurs with me, it's something that occurs with a lot of asexuals. People will talk for a little while and then just stop. There's no real drive a lot of the time because sex is involved. There's no real drive with many asexuals to get into a relationship, whereas that does make me a bit sad, if I'm honest, because for me, I really am driven to find the right guy for a relationship for me, particularly Indian, as you know, because you know, I just don't think. I guess it's because I'm hugely romantically driven, you know, and I don't think you should have to be sexual but have this huge drive to want to be in a relationship. I feel that's kind of sad. It's like, why should it just be if someone's sexually attracted to someone, they want to hugely desire to be in a relationship for the sex? I mean, why can't someone just think, God, I just love someone's personality so much, I want to be in a relationship with them. I want to kiss them. I want to cuddle them. I want to hold their hand because they are just such an awesome person. I just love talking to them, being with them, looking into their eyes, stroking their pretty hair, and just like being in their cuddle. Do you know what I mean? I do wish that asexuals were a bit more like this. I wish they were more driven. I wish they were more in pursuit of finding the right person, you know. But a lot of the time, like I was on Asexuality in the last 24 hours, a lot of them in that forum was saying, you know, like, you know, there's not, you know, a lot of the time that the conversations they have are short-lived, and you know, and there's no real drive to actually be in a relationship because they're asexual. It's like, well, I'm not that bothered. But I think that's sad because I know there's a lot of other asexuals that are bothered, you know, and if there's the majority aren't bothered, then it makes it more difficult for the ones that are bothered, because when a low percent of the population anyway, and trying to find the right asexual is very hard. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, you know. And one person wrote in there, oh, what's the odds of us finding like the age group we want and someone in our city or town that's like the type of person we actually want in a relationship? And I said to them, it's not very high odds. But the fact is, most people have to move for a relationship. They'll have to literally move or find someone who'll move to them. They stay where they are. Most of the time, it's not going to work. You have to be prepared to either move or find a mover. It's very, very important. If you're waiting for some asexual to land on your lap in your actual city or town, most of the time you'll be really disappointed. You have to shift your butt, you know what I mean, and go and find someone. With me, I am a non-mover. I do want a mover, you know, but I don't know if 10, 20 years time that might change. But the only place I'd ever consider moving to in the UK would be London if I ever did move. But the London's very smoggy. It's actually not that good for the chest and lungs, you know. Where I live now is a lot better health-wise, in terms of that. You know, you don't have the smog. You have a lot of fresh air, and I actually live in I love the flat. I love the specific area I live in. I just love where I live. It's a blessing, really, especially in the situation now, because I just live near supermarkets and, you know, I can get food most of the time easily. You know, there's certain things that are out of stock still, going out of stock still, which is a bit like, why is that still happening? But, you know, overall, I'm really blessed, you know. I think with asexuals, though, with the friendship, we can get a lot deeper friendship. I've never, ever in my life had such deep friendships as I have now. I mean, I have people who want to be in my life all the time, who want to check to see how I am, who want to make sure I'm okay. And if I'm not well or really ill, they'll ring me and like, especially my best friend Sam, they'll be like ringing me like, what's up, how you doing, like, do you need my help, basically, on the phone or Skype or whatever, because obviously they can't be here right now. So it's really sweet, you know. I've never had such deep committed friendships in all my life, which I wouldn't have unless I started like connecting with other asexual, and doing asexual meetups obviously has helped loads with that. Someone also on Asexuality was like, oh, it's such a shame you had to cancel your last meetup. When are you doing them? Are you going to be doing this year or next year? And I'm like, I'm just going to wait and see what happens in the next couple of months, because everything's up in the air at the moment. You know, in the UK, people are going back to work now. There's just shops are opening, basically opened this weekend. And, you know, like a lot of things are going back to being open, but there's still all this social distancing going on, and I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of months. You know, you don't know which way it's going to go, whether it's going to go like, you know, the you know, keep, you know, shops staying open, or where something's going to happen to mean they're going to close again. You never know. Do you know what I mean? I think it's got to stabilize for 2 or 3 months before you actually particularly can see what's going to happen. You know, so I don't want to say one way or the other where it's going to be this year or next year. I'll do asexual meetups again. If I can do one towards the end of this year, then that's good. But if I can't, then, you know, it'll be next year. But I can always do another online meetup. I haven't done one for a while, but I'm very busy at the moment. Yeah, very extremely busy. With asexual stuff, I've got 2 courses, pages to still finish. I did the recording the other day for those, but I still haven't edited it. But I've been working on the Asexual Guide to Sex this weekend, the book. I've done 2 out of the second edits with 2 of the 3 stories, and I've got the 3rd one. Liam, I would love to be in your life. You're a very beautiful, you're a very interesting, beautiful person. Oh, that's really sweet, Liam. Thank you so much. Well, you are in my life on the YouTube channel, aren't you? You're already in my life in part. But yeah, I'm on Facebook anyway, obviously. But yeah. Oh, it's very, very sweet. Thank you so much. A lot of the stuff you say is very romantic to me. I know you're not romantic, but it's very romantic to me. Do you know what I mean? It's like a lot of what I wished a romantic guy would say to me, who actually was interested in a relationship, obviously. I know you're not. I already know that. You've made it perfectly clear. I've got that. But, you know, I just think it's kind of like some of the stuff you say, I'm like, my God, you're more romantic than many romantic people I know. It's so funny with the words you say. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean. Some romantics to me can be very romantic, but they're not meaning to be. It's just the way that I interpret the feeling of the words that they give me. Do you know what I mean? Not well, other aromantics aren't really on the scene at the moment saying this type of thing. But you know what I mean? I have known other aromantics to have to say or behave in certain ways that I would consider very romantic. Because I being a hyper romantic as well, it does give me a very romantic slant on life in general. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can think things are romantic which most people wouldn't actually think is even romantic. I think I think things are cute as well, but I don't know if that's an asexual thing. Like, I saw an advert today, and it was this little animated robot, you know, and it was teaching kids how to do the alphabet or something, and it was an advert for that. And I'm like, oh my God, the little robot, the animated robot's so cute. And I think asexuals do find things a lot more cute in life. I think we have a more sweet, innocent, cute side to a lot of our natures. Not all asexuals, you know, but I do think in general, you know, we see a lot of things that are very cute. We can see cuteness and sweetness and a lot of things that other people can't. We can see kind of more innocence, and we can love like a lot more younger stuff as well. I mean, a lot of us, when we were on the stream the other night, we were talking about cuddly toys, how much we love cuddling our cuddly toys and how important they are to us. And, you know, I think a lot of asexuals, they do tend to live a lot younger life as well. Most of us do. Like, when I've seen other asexuals like post pictures of their bedrooms and stuff in the past, that a lot of them have got like cuddly toys or action figures or superhero stuff. Do you know, it's all really, really young stuff. So I think that's really nice. I think it's a lot more kind of sweet, cute life we live. I just really appreciate that, you know, because I think, you know, for me, this kind of the sexual world is very kind of like, I don't know. For me, I find it very difficult. It's like a completely different world I now live in, you know, whilst living in that world. And it's kind of like the sexuals, they just, for me, I can't emotionally connect as deep with sexual guys. It's just kind of like, there's kind of like the sexual stuff gets in the way, I think. You know, for me, it does. It's kind of like there's the person, then there's the sexual feeling, and then there's me, and it's kind of like a barrier, I think. Whereas I think, you know, like with asexuals, we don't have any of that sexual stuff going on, so it's kind of like a lot more freer, and you're able to more easily connect straight to the heart of the person, straight to the soul of the person. That's what I feel personally for me. I mean, I can connect with other asexuals on an emotional level very quickly compared to the past. Asexuals are young at heart. Yes, Liam, I think they are. But I think their lifestyle's very young. I think a lot of asexuals live a very, very much younger lifestyle as well, you know? I mean, I'm not into video games, but I know a lot of asexuals that are into video games, anime, you know, stuff like that. Pokemon, you know, a lot of animated stuff. They just tend to be a lot more, you know, like younger in their lifestyle. I think a lot of asexuals can look younger as well, but I'm young naturally without asexuality. Do you know what I mean? I just like to be young. I don't have anything to do with my birth certificate unless I have to use it for some purpose. Do you know what I mean? It's very difficult for me sometimes because someone's like, "Oh, so what's your age?" And I'm like, I'm like, "How? What's my birth certificate age?" And I'm trying to rack my brain to remind myself sometimes. I have to put it in the back of my head sometimes what birth certificate age I am because it's like I don't really use that age. Um, you know, sometimes I have to. And the thing is with being asexual, like if I want to go in articles and magazines and newspapers, a lot of the time they want your birth certificate age. It's so annoying. I'm like, well, how's that relevant to this article? But they're like, oh, well, like I was in the paper once in the Daily Mirror and Daily Mail, but Daily Mirror, I was interviewed by a journalist for that publication, and they want my birth certificate age, and I didn't want to give it, but I had to because they're like, oh, I can't put the article in unless you do. And obviously, I want to help asexuals as much as possible, so I did that, you know. But I expect, like, with the Asexual Guide to Sex, like, I'm wanting to get, you know, I want to get publicity for that book. I want, you know, more people to be listening about that book, you know, and want to promote it a lot more. So I'll probably possibly have to give my birth certificate age out to people if they interview me, you know, because they seem to love that. They seem to be very fixated on birth certificate age. I'm like, it's not something I really like talking about. It really pees me off. It's like I'm nothing like my birth certificate age. It so annoys me. But it's just like something if I really, really have to do it, then I have to get on and do it. The only advantage of it is that someone can't tell me, oh, you don't know your own mind. And it might be a phase you're going through with asexuality with my birth certificate age. I think it's like I've got years of experience. I really understand myself and know myself well. It doesn't mean to say I can't change though. Anyone can change. Do you know what I mean? So I think, you know, that is the only benefit of my birth certificate age is, you know, like I have years of experience, and obviously that shows on this channel. How rude to ask your age. Yeah, Liam, they always like to do it, journalists. It's annoying. This woman, she said, I can't publish the article unless you give me your age. And I'm like, oh. So I did it, you know, but they tend to be very fixated on it. You know, it's like, but you know, with the Asexual Guide to Sex book, I do want to heavily publicize that one. I want people who are not asexual to read it as well, because I want them to see how different we are, and that there's something different, something they've never thought of in their life, something that's the missing piece. You know, this is like the Asexual Guide to Sex book. Someone said who's in the book, you know, I really think your book's a missing puzzle piece, and I think it's not. They were kind of having that as an asexual slant, which I think is really, really important. But also that works equally for sexuals, you know, it's a missing puzzle piece for them, the bit that they are missing in terms of why some people want sex more than others, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's very important that the book gets into as many hands as possible, so they can finally wake up to the fact that asexuality is real. There are people that do not like, want, or need sex. And there are people that will have sex, but they don't feel the same way because they're asexual. I think it's so important to get this book into as many hands as possible. I haven't even finished the book yet, but I just know it's my pride and joy. Like, I really, really believe that Asexual Guys Sex Book can change people's lives, can change society, can change the world. That's how much I feel about the book. Do you know what I mean? That's how much I just, want to spread awareness. And I'm sure when the book's published, I'll be having an Asexual Guide to Sex Month. Like, I've got Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month at the moment. I'll probably have an Asexual Guide to Sex Month for at least a month it's published, which will be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I mean, the book's really insightful. I can't say how insightful it is. It's just every story is completely different, really. And it's just like, wow, this just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. I think it's a very good piece of literature as well, because obviously I'm a writer, and I just think the whole book is a very, very unique, special piece of literature that's never been done before. And I like to do first. I like to be the first to do things, first to have an asexual chat show. So that's good. First person in the world to do an asexual chat show. It's great. So yeah. And I think that's the good thing about, like I said, about being asexual, is just that it's so different. It's kind of like you're kind of a part of the elite, part of the minority in a elite sense. So some people look at it negatively, like, oh, we're so in the minority, which is, I understand it's difficult when you're dating relationships, but also we're kind of the elite because we're, there's less of us, and so we're kind of like, special in that way, I think. And I know some people go, oh, don't be a special snowflake. Well, bloody heck, I like being a special person. I like asexuals to be special. There's nothing wrong with that. They're just saying it so that to put us down. It's ridiculous. I think asexuals are very special. I think anyone who's different to the majority of the world is very special, because they've got very unique qualities and they're not trying to be a copycat of anyone else. And I think that's something to celebrate. I think that's something to be thinking is a great quality to have, a huge benefit. And I really do believe that it's something that is, just fundamentally a wonderful thing, to be kind of like less of a conditioned person. We don't go by the norms that we're brought up to be conditioned by. We're naturally like don't fit into that, and I don't like being conditioned, but we're all conditioned from birth to think lots of different things, and it takes us a long time to get out of the habit of believing what everyone else thinks we should believe. That's why a lot of us end up who are asexual in relationships with sexuals, and some of us do end up having sex because we don't realize we're asexual. I'm a very special person, Sandra. Oh, thank you. Oh, so sweet. Lots of love to you. You're very sweet. So yeah, I just think like we have unique gifts and qualities, and I just feel that being asexual, just like, it really just pull back all the conditioner. And I think it's difficult when you're younger, in birth certificate age particularly, because I think you feel like you're an alien more. I know I did. I wasn't understood, and I think probably part of that was asexuality, and I didn't realize it. I think that's why a lot of us do end up in some sort of relationships with sexuals, because we've been so conditioned, so like made to think certain things. And it's kind of like the great awakening when you realize that you're not like everyone else, that you're actually different. It's kind of like you wake up from being in a deep sleep of kind of trance of sexuals. Do you know what I mean? I think sexuals kind of put us in a trance of, and condition us to like be like, kind of like, when you see these films and they've got mind control, that's kind of like how it is. They're kind of like controlling our minds from a very early age, like, you are sexual, you must like sex, everyone likes sex, it's what people have to do to be happy in a relationship. It's just so brainwashing. And when we find out we're asexual, we break free of those chains that have enslaved us for years. We break free through to being the person that we're always born to be and didn't realize it. It's kind of like an awakening, and you just kind of like push the curtain, pull, whatever you want, the curtains back, and you see this whole new life in front of you that you never knew existed, and all these different people that it's like, wow, it's just like magnificent. It's like, I never knew this existed. It's like finding the precious gold at the end of the rainbow, the precious jewels that you never knew were there, that are just glistening amongst debris, and you managed to find them at last. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've been on this treasure hunt for years, not realizing it. You stumble across this treasure, and it's like, wow, I'm asexual, and there's others like me that can live, love, and be happy without sex. And I think that's a huge benefit. The fact that we can live, love, and be happy without sex is just incredible. I mean, what gift is that? Beautiful, beautiful gift to cherish. Doesn't mean to say it makes life easy all the time, but it's still a very beautiful gift to cherish. And I think, that's a huge benefit of being asexual. We've got this just such a special gift within us all, and we just have the ability to see the world in a completely different light from what others do. And it's like being in our own little world. It's like being aliens together on a big planet that's kind of like a bit weird. It's like, oh yeah, they're having sex. Okay. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, okay, they're over here, we're over there. Or we're over here, they're over there. But obviously some asexuals do still have sex and partake in it and don't mind it, I think the Asexual Guide to Sex is just very eye-opening to me. Yeah, very eye-opening. There's all different types of stories in there. It's very, very intriguing. I was like, yeah, I'm really excited for it, really excited for the book, and really excited to know how it's going to change people's lives. But obviously, if you're watching this and haven't got a copy of this one, it is a good prequel to the Asexual Guide to Sex, so you can get it with a link down below if you haven't got a copy of this already. It's really worth reading because there's so many different asexual stories to relate to. It's usually a story that anyone can relate to. And it puts the asexuality in perspective of real life context, and I share my personal story in there as well. Other people can be anonymous, but I'm not. My new Asexual Guide to Sex book, I'm the only one that's not anonymous as well. It's like everyone else is definitely 100% anonymous. I was going to say, in this, there are some people that use their actual names because they want to, but in my Asexual Guide to Sex book, everyone doesn't use their full name. So yeah, that's me out on a limb as usual. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for everyone who's contributed to this channel. Thank you, Liam, so much for being here. I'm gonna say goodbye, I think, for tonight. But I want to say thank you very much for celebrating with me, Liam. Over 125,000 views, it's incredible. It's an incredible milestone. Oh, if anyone is interested in the picture TubeBuddy, if you have your own YouTube channel, if you want to install TubeBuddy on your channel, it's a piece of software that helps you grow your channel. The link is already in the description. I put it below the video before I actually did the video. tubebuddy.com/spreadthetubelove. That's linked down below anyway. So because I've installed TubeBuddy for a few months now, and it helps you see keywords, it helps you see more clearly analytics of what's working on your channel, what isn't, so you can improve your channel, make it better, and get more views and subscribers. So it's really, really good. It's free. It's free to download. So if you've got your own YouTube channel, go and download that. Click through my link and go and download that for free. And it's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, Liam. Bye Sandra, love you so much. Oh, thank you, Liam, lots of love, and thank you so much for being here, and I really appreciate you. And thanks A-Step, who popped in earlier. Thanks to everyone else who's been watching. If you haven't already given this video a thumbs up, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with any friends you think may benefit from the video. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that great big bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live and I'll post a new video. Lots of love to you. I'll be reading more from my Asexual Perspectives book this month for Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month, celebrating our diversity across the asexual spectrum and our differences within it. Until next time, brace your quirky and each other's lots of love. Take care, Liam. Awesome love. Bye.